some more of the Record Store Day vinyl haul, including this record, which is a Record Store Day exclusive that's charting or hit the number 8 in the UK best-selling physical albums chart, right? Exclusive means only a certain amount were released, and that's it. They're gone. And I mean, that's curious, right? And I'm not trying to be negative or something like that. It's just, there is controversy about Record Store Day being too commercialized and, you know, being about the big labels dominating Record Store Day. And now this one's on the charts, but David Bowie, I mean, come on. We'll get into it, but first, this. Classic Mercedes in front of Apollo Exos Records. Hot vinyl, cold beer. That's right. All right, hello, welcome to the channel. It's me again, Russ Shaw. Glad you're here. Gonna share some more records. I had to show some love to my own city here because we actually have a record store for the first time that participated in Record Store Day.
I wonder when they opened, or if they opened early maybe on Record Store Day. I don't know. I know they bought a lot of records, it sounded like. So, yes, they are open. Check that out. Find a place to park, Russ.
Oh, yeah.
Back for more. How's it going, man?
Hey, you scored. Record Store Day.
You have an RSVP? I listed like 16. I got like.
What's that?
You have an RSVP?
I don't.
But I was there like 4 o'clock this morning.
And I rolled in there on Record Store Day. Got like, what, 3 hours sleep in 24 hours. And I'm in there, you know. I gotta support my local Everett Washington record store. Earlier that day, I had gone to Silver Platters. I mean, earlier that day, like 1 a.m., 1:30, something like that, I got down there. But in Everett, this one was on my list. I didn't get it at Silver Platters, so I was excited to find this. Live at Riverside Studios in 2003. This has been shelved for, geez, over 20 years now. 2003. So this was a live recording. Says right on there, Riverside Studios, 2003. Before the album Reality came out, he had done this and broadcast it to a bunch of theaters across the world, right? And people could go into the theater, and they were really pushing that back then. It's a live stream, right? Before live streams were called live streams, I suppose, now that anyone can do them. David Bowie was up there doing a live stream for the entire freaking world.
Which one did you get that at?
At Apollo Exos.
Oh,
That's where I bought this, here in Everett. The records sound good. Put them on the turntable. Just played them again this morning. We've spun this the last 2 weeks since Record Store Day. I spun this record a few times. I like it. I wasn't really that familiar with the album Reality. I haven't been real familiar with Bowie's work or releases past the 80s. Besides this album, like, I'm real familiar with this one, which has a whole different kind of energy to it, you know, as far as the feels and the emotions go. And the guy basically put to music his own eulogy. It is a spectacular album, but there's some more alive energy to it, which I like to hold dear in the memory of Mr. Bowie. Ready, set, go. So it was cool to, you know, get acquainted with this record, especially in its live version with a little Bowie banter in there, which was cool. The sleeves came with some photos. Poly sleeve, no, right? There's just these kind of poster paper. It's not like paper, so I guess that's better. I don't know. I'm gonna put them in better sleeves. But yeah, there's Mr. Bowie on the cover. Get him off there. Came with a poster, which is, speaking of poster paper. Also, you know, this was not, speaking of major labels and people talking about, you know, some controversy about that. This was made by the Bowie family or the Bowie estate, right? So Bowie and a lot of artists shed the record companies over time, you know. There he is. That's from a poster from the live event. And this is from Forbes magazine, the article. I'll leave a link in the description. It's interesting that Forbes financial magazine is doing these, but here you go. A couple of excerpts. Ready, Set, Go earns its highest placements on the official album sales and official physical media albums charts. On both tallies, it kicks off at number 8. It also lands on the official vinyl albums list, debuting at number 10. The fact that Bowie, released nearly a decade after his death, can launch inside the top 10 is quite a feat. Certainly is. Also, the live set makes an appearance on the official albums chart, the most important music ranking in the country for full-length albums. The list blends of pure sales and streaming data to measure overall popularity. There, Ready, Set, Go charts at number 44, which is just under the top 40 cutoff. So if you bring streaming in, and I guess people that listen to the whole album on streaming, I do that. I'll, you know, put an album in the streamer, and do I want to pick this up? Maybe. I do have limited space, you know. It's getting quite packed up in here. So yeah, all this, the proceeds for this go to the Bowie estate, which is not some huge major label, right? I watched this video by Nick at the Vinyl Den, and I like Nick's channel. You know, I enjoy his uploads. But he was talking about Record Store Day being, you know, catering to big labels and stuff like that. And sure, there's, you know, releases like this that are going to bring out the crowds. I also got this. I got this at both stores, to be honest. Got one for my wife and one for my daughter. Taylor Swift and Post Malone's single Fortnite right there. And, you know, and of course Bowie's going to bring out some crowds. Maybe the older folks, right? But every time there's a Taylor Swift release, I was talking to Dean at Silver Platters, and he was saying that, yeah, there's usually a bigger crowd when the Swifties come out, right, and show up. My hope is that they would be more attracted to some of the smaller labels and some of those labels that, right, when you attract a crowd to a thing, that's a good thing. What I do like about Record Store Day 2 is that the big guys can't play. And for some of you in other countries, I think it's different here in the US because our country is mostly ran by corporations now. Pretty much. I say that with laughing with tears, kind of, right? Like here in the US, if you don't like your competitor, you can just buy them, you know? That's, the antitrust laws start to get eroded over time. If you don't like the laws, you can buy the politicians with these people called lobbyists. I actually had a cousin of mine who was a state senator in Arizona who said lobbyists were like human spam. They would just show up at different places. But that's, you know, that's my opinion on that. Republicans, Democrats, they bicker back and forth, but the country's really ran by large conglomerate companies now. So we don't have a thing like this in any other industry here in the States, like where the big guys can't play, right? Like that's very unique, especially here in the States. You can only buy these releases on Record Store Day at independent record stores. Now, sure, they'll be on, you know, Amazon or Walmart or whatever the next day, usually by third-party sellers, you know, the flippers that are out there. And sure, that's another kind of a negative thing, the people that go out and buy records just to flip them, you know, scalp them. So that's a thing too. But if you're a fan and you enjoy independent record stores like I do, I mean, they're like little museums, kind of, and the people that run them have their own character, and everyone's kind of different, and they put their own personality and spirit into the thing. I love that. And the fact that you have to get off your butt and go to an actual independent record store on record store day is a plus for me. It's enough for me to be excited about it. Maybe as an American in a corrupt corporate environment. And people could say, well, it's the big record companies and it's a cash grab and all this stuff, and I get that. Some of that's true. But the base of it, and the thing that I like, is that we're going to independent record stores that are owned by small businesses, not by big shitty corporations, all right? And people are lining up, buying these records on that day. Record store day is the only day, right, where some big shitty corporation doesn't jump in and, try and eat up the little guy. And by the way, speaking of not big shitty corporations, this is a Dogfish Head poster, the official beer sponsor of Record Store Day. That was a smaller brewery somewhere on the East Coast somewhere, but I found this at a specialty beer and wine shop in Seattle area here. And this is the Juicy Pale Ale, Grateful Dead. I'm not sure how much. I know that there's a wine too that was made, Grateful Dead signed off on. I guess they're putting their name on certain enjoyable products like this. I'll give it a sample here for you. IPA. It's not bad. I like it. It's not super sweet, but it's a little tart, It's not like your hoppy IPA that makes you kind of pucker a little bit. Not a whole lot of bitterness to this thing. All right, with a Dogfish Head in one hand and a Bowie record in the other, let's move on. Forbes magazine talking about Bowie. Bowie is like a religion in the UK. Here too. I mean, Bowie's just amazing. Okay, here's a few more I got while I was there. I found this one. This was on my list. Teenage Bottle Rocket. Total. It's a little different, right? We're going to go through the genres. This is a great freaking record right here. And the wax is... amazing freaking record. This album with the radio song, So Cool, Stupid Games, Fall For Me, Crashing, all these are just amazing songs. You got 14 songs on there. Most of them don't go over 3 minutes. It's a punk rock record. That's how it is. And now for something completely different. I was excited to find this. Oh my gosh, Kenny Dorham. This is a first time release in the Bronx, the Jazz Messengers. All right, this guy was part of Art Blakey's crew with all of that back in the day. The Blue Morocco no longer exists. I guess there was a movie. Gosh, I can't remember the movie. But they recreated the Blue Morocco in the Bronx, New York for this movie. Just a cool piece of frickin' jazz history. It came in this pouch-like thing, right? Instead of shrink wrap, it came in this. It is hand numbered. This was not cheap. This record cost me some coin, but for the sake of, I'll just read you the shrink here. First time release, Kenny Dorham with All-Star Band. It's amazing that this sounds so amazing. And it was recorded in 1967 in a club, like a nightclub. You know, amazing. And I really, really like this record. I mean, the beginning of it's a little busy. All right, it is. But by the second disc, about, I don't know, man, the second side, they start to get into a groove, and it is just perfection. Jazz freaking perfection. There he is, doing his thing. There's a whole really, I gotta share this with you. The family did a thing on this. This is a year before I was born. This whole show happened. There's a 16-page booklet on the history and family members talking about. There's the borough of the Bronx map on the back. Just very freaking cool. I don't want to bore you with too much of this, but this is like the back page was really cool because listening to this thing is like it's incredible. And sure, there's people mastered. This went through a mastering process. 33.5 RPM, mastered by Matthew Lutikens at the Mastering Lab, and pressed by Lee Vinylist. Recorded live at the Blue Morocco Club, Bronx, New York, 1967. Engineer Bernard Drayton. Extensive 16-page insert with rare photos. And yeah, the recording equipment was this stuff right there. You know, here's the track list and the band, some more credits in the back. This was just, I mean, just about a tear-jerking read right here. The family from the Durham family. Some of his band right there. Very freaking cool. Amazing record, worth the money. And, you know, speaking of not being on a crazy big label, copyright 2025, Renaissance Records, a division of Rising Jazz Stars Incorporated, a California non-profit corporation. Right? So, there you go. Good stuff. All right, people, last but not least, this was a kind of an impulse buy. It was cheap. The reason it was cheap is because it's a single, right? 12-inch single. I'm a Pink Floyd fan. I enjoy David Gilmour. And this is him and his daughter. Yeah, so sweet. I have a daughter. He did a record with her. This was, yeah, it's basically 4 versions of the same song. Live at Royal Albert Hall is the first one. And then the Gentry remix. Between 2 Points is what it's called. Ooh, David Gilmour. All right, thanks for watching. That's the official end of this. There's some more to come. I did get some more Dogfish Head beer as I was recording this. I cut some of this out because I'll show you here. We got right around the corner here is the laundry area. I still have to fix that. Right, instead of put some of that money away to fix a freaking washing machine dryer thing. This is all one unit, by the way, and it's kind of noisy. So if I'm sitting in here and you hear some noises, that's what's going on. We have a mini mansion here at the Shaw Estate, and there you go, behind the scenes. Thanks for watching. Got this going on. A little bonus material. Why not? Oh yeah, went and finished that off. That, my friends, is Apollo Exos. I think I'm saying that correctly. I'm pretty dang sure. This is one of my favorite koozies there. Pull this guy out of there. This is the 60-minute IPA from Dogfish Head. And it's pretty good. I like it. All the way from the East Coast. Sometimes we get European beers and some of those are made here too. They call it, oh yeah, this is Stellos Atos or whatever. It's made in Pittsburgh or somewhere. Sure, buddy, okay. But the real European beers take a minute to get all the way over here in Seattle. So some of them got that little skunky taste. All right, I'll just stop. I'll stop talking about beer and get to the records. So there you go. That's one of the reasons I'm excited about Record Store Day and why I believe in it. That, you know, you get up early, you go out and you see the people, and there's like-minded people in line and all of that. And yeah, I'll raise a toast to that. That's right, the weekend fun car's been neglected for like a year now. Neglect. Showing its, look at that. She's been sitting out here for months. Oh, poor old G6. Look at the dirt. I think it's pollen. Brand new brake caliper on there now. Look at that. It's all ready to go. Sure, the big companies and, you know, Green Day. I'm going to go on a rant here. I'm going to keep going a little bit. Green Day was shit on for being popular, right? Once you get to a certain point where the smaller labels can't keep up with you because your music's just, people like it, right? And there's a demand for it. So what do? You just stick with the company who can't crank it out fast enough. You know, that's up to you. You put your own thoughts on that. But the bigger the company, they can handle the load. I think it's changing in the physical media sphere, but time will tell. I'll cut all this out, put it at the end as an outtake if you like, but there you go.